Alright, so in today's video, I got the Platinum Trophy on Starfield. Yes, you heard me right, Xbox and or Bethesda decided to release Starfield on the PlayStation. This all happened last week on April 7, and I honestly didn't really hear much about it, if anything. Obviously, I did know it was coming to PlayStation, but that's just because I'm terminally online, and you watching this right now might not have even known that it is, or to be honest, you might not even know what Starfield is to begin with. Well, if you don't, it's the brand new, I guess, game from Bethesda. Remember those great franchises like Skyrim and Fallout? Yeah, this is from those same people. Sure to be a great success, right? I don't know about that, to be honest. Starfield's release has been constantly dogged on for being a failure, flop, overall just kind of a bad game. Even playing it today, I still had many bugs and numerous crashes, even within the tutorial of the game itself, so yeah.
No,
This game is, in my opinion, a dog poop. That can kind of sum up Starfield, more like Star Failure. But I'm not here to just make fun of this game today. I mean, I kind of do that. But instead, I played it and I platinumed it. In total, Star Failure contains 51 trophies, including the platinum for the base game. There is a few DLCs, but I'll be damned if I spend one more hour grinding this amazing video game. In total, the trophy guide from PowerPix contains 4 stages spanning across every aspect of the trophy list. It's estimated to take about 75 hours to complete. However, I did it in about 45. Also, I became one of the first platinum achievers on this game without really trying to, so shout out. And as usual, if you guys do enjoy this video or just want to drop a like and subscribe for my suffering, please do down below. It's free and I appreciate it. Okay, so starting off Starfield, obviously stage 1 is just beat the main story. But while you go about this, you should also try to rizz up a companion for a very annoying and very long trophy called Starcross, which involves marrying a companion in the game. Spoiler, no titty awoohas are shown and it's just hours of simping, so we basically have to be iDubbbed for that trophy. But the rest of the stage is very simple, just beat the game. And the intro opens up with us as our main character being in an elevator going down into some mines because we are a galactic miner. In these mines, you find an artifact that sets us off on the journey today, which is spectacularly simple. The Starfield story, in hindsight, accomplishes pretty much nothing, and it's overall just a giant nothing burger of a story. Again, looking at it from an overall perspective. But like I said, I couldn't even finish the tutorial before my game crashed. Talk about first impressions. And there wasn't an autosave quite yet because, well, I assume the hundreds of employees who I'm sure crafted away at this game with great investment expected the tutorial to at least run okay. In turn, I then had to replay about 10 minutes of time to reach where I almost made it through, and then I did end up mining away at this artifact of sorts. Now, like any smart individual, we then grabbed it because who cares about protection? We raw dog life out here. And in doing so, you then see a very cool little flash of lights. This is what I imagined it felt like to be blackout drunk for the first time, but it's actually just a lot of throwing up. So this kind of sets us off on a journey to find out what just happened. And for the next half hour of the intro, I guess, you just make your character because we haven't actually done that yet. Here's my guy all finished up. I chose to go for a more serious look today. Also, I named myself Dequavion Comatocalist. A very space-ish name, I thought. After that, we were then back on our feet and we went outside to where we were. Upon doing so, a ship begins to land and the man inside it was named Barrett. Now, this guy is very important because he knows about the artifacts and ends up being one of our first quest givers and one of the main side characters of the game. And also, is it just me or does every character in this game's eyes just look so lifeless? I don't know what it is about the character designs of this game, but they just look extremely uncanny to me. Maybe I'm tripping, I don't know. Anyways, Barrett talks about the artifact we found for a little bit, also saying he found one and touched it, and he also does know what happened, at least a little bit. Then some enemies just also land on the opposing side of the place we were in, and we fight them because why not? Anyways, after that, we then bid our work pals goodbye because our purpose is clearly higher now that we have touched a space rock. Barrett then landed us his ship, and then we go fly off to our next objective, and after doing so, you get the first trophy of the game, and the intro is pretty much completed. So in this next story mission, I honestly can't remember exactly what we did because this game was so boring. Basically nothing that was small in detail stuck with my brain. Maybe I just have bad memory, or maybe this game is just extremely forgettable. I'm gonna go with the former. But you got introduced to lockpicking, which is a trophy much later on, and persuasion, which I don't think is a trophy in itself, but it's still a very big part of the game. And I actually do now realize that this mission was to negotiate with those people that we just fought in the intro. Yeah, it all makes sense now. But then after that was all solved, you do continue the main story again, and this time we did fly off to find this group of people who have encountered the artifacts before and with Barrett. They were located at this place called the Lodge on Jemison, which is a planet in the Alpha Centauri system. Once entering the place, we got introduced to many people. The only person I'm going to mention, however, is this blonde chick named Sarah Morgan. Yes, I did choose to rizz her up for like 20 hours for the Starcross trophy, and yes, I do regret this a lot. She may be a blonde, but goddamn, she is also a bitch. Anyways, we end up joining their little artifact finding club and got another story trophy right here. Now, after that trophy popped, we then entered the real story and gameplay of Starfield. Now that things were kind of settled down, it became more in-depth with the world we explore, various missions tying together things, etc. But the next trophy I got was just from reaching level 5, and I didn't get that for a while because XP is a bit scarce in Starfield, which is amazing considering we need to reach level 100 later on. I'm crying right now knowing how grindy that bullshit is gonna be. Anyways, here's that level 5 trophy, which I got much later on after more story missions, etc. And I'm gonna be honest, if you can't already tell, I did skim through a lot of this game's dialogue. Starfield story is like, 30% just loading screens because of how bad the traveling system is. There is so many memes out there about how ass this game is with that feature alone, but the other 70% of the game story is just dialogue. Endless lines of dialogue and text. I'm not sure if that decade-long development was purely so the interns could write out bullshit over and over, but my god, please just give me a gun, any sort of weapon, and an objective. I honestly do not care about the personal details of every space human we come across. The sheer amount of bulk you have to wade through to get anything done in this game is mind-numbing. For hindsight, this game's platinum took me 45 hours. And you know what happened to those other 30 or 40 hours that would have made up the 75 suggested hour time frame? Just the voice lines and dialogue. There isn't really cutscenes in this game, it's just endless fucking voice lines. And it's probably one of the more higher up reasons as to why this game never took off. Sure, Fallout and Skyrim both have similar functions with the dialogue, but it just felt like in those games the things people say actually matter, or at least a little bit interesting. This game just does not give that vibe. Instead, it comes off as just filler. But I digress, and the next trophy I got was called Into the Unknown, which, yes, it is a trophy from completing a specific main story mission. In this said mission, all you do is find a temple on a distant planet which holds a little puzzle to unlock the artifact within it. And this puzzle, you might be asking, is done by just floating through the spinny things that look like you should float through them. And this puzzle also does not change one bit at all for every other temple in the universe. And there also is like 20 to 30 more of these out there, so yeah, I don't know who decided they should all be identical, but go off, queen. After completing it, you then head back to the lodge, you add the artifact to the other ones, which grows into a bigger floating thing, and that's about it with the trophy popping after. And real fast, a little spoiler, this is pretty much what you do for the entire main story. It's essentially it. But I then got another trophy after called Traveler from again reaching a new level milestone, this time being just level 10. All that money can buy was the next main story mission I finished, which gave me another trophy, and this mission was all about the artifacts yet again. If you can't guess, we chased these down for the entire game, like I just said. That is the story, just finding them. But we do run into a hostile force called the Starborn who wanted to steal this one artifact from us because they don't deem us worthy yet. However, you can just grab jump to avoid them, which is what I did, and the trophy popped afterwards. My next trophy was then called Further Into the Unknown. I seriously think that in every aspect, angle, degree of this game, the people who made it just gave zero creative effort at all. It's almost like they decided to make a space game at Bethesda and they just said, yeah, that's cool enough. As long as it's in space, those little swine who play our games won't need anything in depth. It's genuinely crazy to me how ass this game is on every aspect, even just the trophy names themselves. The fucking Platinum Trophy is just called Platinum Trophy. What the fuck is this, 2011?
Oh my god!
But again, back to this mission, it was about, well, you guessed it, yup, I found another artifact buried deep in a cave, which looks goddamn near identical to the intro of this game. If this game genuinely took 12 years of hard, diligent work to make, then I'm gonna be a billionaire by the time I'm 40, because there's no fucking way. But hey, again, once heading back to the lodge and handing over the artifact, I got, yet again, the trophy pop. If any game out there represents the myth of Sisyphus in a perfect analogy, I think that this game would be it. Now, my next two trophies, again, were both story, being the missions High Price to Pay and In Their Footsteps. First off, the High Price to Pay mission actually was one of the few missions in the game where you actually do something cool. The lodge, which is our home base, ends up being attacked by the Starborn, and you can stay and defend it to help the people there, or you can go off and fly to our space station named the Eye, which is where the other half of our club is at. Now, I chose to go to the Eye because, well, to be honest, the girl I'm trying to rizz up was there, so I kind of had to. That puss transcends dimensions, I guess. We basically just fly there, no combat happens because I guess the damage was already done, and everybody on there ends up living because of us going there. However, back at the lodge, a few people got, cut from the game, including Barrett, who is still here, or was still there. May the dead inside Black Space Cowboy rest in peace. That sentence reminds me of the space movie made in 1992. Feel free to look it up for yourself. Anyways, that's basically it for the mission, so here's the trophy popping. Following that, during the In Their Footsteps mission, it's a much more different thing, obviously. But this one also exposed basically everything that was mysterious about this game. The hostile force towards us, which is the Starborn, I don't know if I said that, but also what the artifacts do in general. First, however, you do a little puzzle at, again, another temple that looks just like the same as the others. But this gives you a star map to follow, and you pretty much just fast travel around until getting to where we are supposed to. At this point, you then get confronted with the Scorpius ship, which is again a Starborn enemy ship, and the hunter who was on it and a Starborn person invites us on board to discuss what we were going to do with the artifacts that we found, and also he just kind of exposes it because I guess they got tired of gatekeeping. But basically, we learn the Starborn people are just normal humans who at one point in their life, or timeline, or dimension, found all of the artifacts and put them together. This act then transcends you into an immortal being who can cross dimensions, hence why the other dude here was Barrett from another universe. We know this because our Barrett is still being mopped up in the common room. So basically, to describe this once more, Starborn people are just weirdos from other timelines that found the artifacts and went through the portal or whatever and landed in a different timeline. And that's the entire mystery of this game's story. And spoiler, again, once you do go through the Starborn process and finish the game, you just get sent to a new game plus. God damn it, Bethesda. These intuitive game choices are truly too much. They need to be studied. But here's that trophy after finishing the level finally. We are also nearing the end of the main story because it's basically just us putting the artifacts together to become Starborn. There was a few more missions, but most of them are just fighting other Starborn for, again, other artifacts. Before that, however, I did get a random trophy just from modifying my ship, which is very easy, and here it is popping. After that, I did a very cool mission actually called Entangled. And inside of this, we had to chase down a very important artifact that was being held in a science space station. But they had a very big accident and the entire place blew up. However, this explosion was split between two timelines, and there was portals to change which one you were in as you go through the area. It's very cool, but it's also very confusing, and I got lost a lot, but it was overall cool. At the end of it, you also got to decide to spare the lab full of scientists in our timeline, or to save the one dude in the place where the accident happened in the other one. And I chose to save our timeline because, I mean, I'm sorry, bro, it's just math. After that, the trophy then popped and we got another artifact. I then began the Unearth mission line, which is the last main story mission I will do right now because it's the final one before the point of no return. But the mission just had us find another artifact in another mine. I swear these developers do a cool mission that give us 8 repeat missions to pad time. Crazy work, but I found the artifact. I know, a shocker. And I got the trophy, an even bigger shock. This game is a joke. So after that did pop, I actually shifted over to stage 2 of the platinum, which was related to us doing all the side content that gave trophies. And again, still risen up shoddy. Them blondes can be hard sometimes. I know, another surprise. But these 4 factions we had to both join and then complete the missions for are listed in no particular order, being Freestar Rangers, Ryujin Industries, UC Vanguard, and finally the Crimson Fleet. Now the first of these I did grind out was the Crimson Fleet, both because it was already available to me and also because I just did. I have no reasoning. During the missions, however, I actually got 2 natural trophies. First from just visiting 20-star systems, which is very easy and will happen as you play. Then from just reaching level 25, officially a quarter to 100. I'm still weeping in sorrow from that 100 trophy, by the way. It was miserable. But anyways, back to the Crimson Fleet mission lines. They hold 3 trophies, and many missions, and many hours of gameplay, and honestly, these side stories are way better than the main story. At least in terms of the overall stories within them, which is all I'm going to talk about, because I'm going to shit myself if I write 3 more pages describing this game's missions. But the Crimson Fleet storyline all revolved around being a space pirate, essentially. The Crimson Fleet is generally known in the Starfield universe as being the bad guys, using their time to mostly just raid, steal, kill space people all over. However, our goal was to infiltrate them and join them to help the UC Vanguard. It's a whole confusing mess. Long story short, I ended up just becoming full-on Crimson Fleet. It's okay. But our overall goal here was to rob this forgotten or at least lost spaceship wreck. And inside of this wreck was a Galbank Vault motherlode full of credits, which is the currency of the universe. Long story short, we find it, install some cool tech to rob it, and in turn we got off with about 300,000 more credits into our account. Are we rich? I think so. Also, here's all 3 of those trophies popping, as I did get them periodically throughout the story playthrough. Oh yeah, and after I did finish that quest line, my girl Sarah Morgan, the blonde chick I've been trying to rizz up all game long, finally gave in and married me. It was honestly lame as hell, I'm not gonna lie. I think 2 people came to the wedding, but hey, the trophy popped, so moving on. I then also never talked to her again. Truly a man on a mission. So my next faction quest line I chased down to complete was the UC Vanguards. These are the quote-unquote good guys of space, and the missions pretty much just had us doing good deeds to protect overall space. I think if I remember correctly, this one tied to those creatures called terramorphs, which were these biological anomalies found on some planets planet that were thought to be extinct. They're basically just super strong and super invasive creatures, and they were used in the past by some evil people to create mass destruction and exterminate planets. So, yeah, not a good thing. But quite literally, this entire mission line just had us fighting them on various planets, discovering where they came from, and then it just sort of ends. All of these mission lines, by the way, have way more missions after the trophies do stop. So yeah, after you get the trophies, you don't really finish the storylines, I guess, but you do finish the trophies for them. So GG Terramorphs, and here's all the trophies popping that were tied to the UC Vanguard. I also got one other random trophy during the midst of this called Privateer from completing 30 terminals or missions total. I don't really know what that means, to be honest, but I got it, so cool. The next faction I chased down to complete was then the Freestar Rangers, and it's also my second to last one out of the 4. This one surrounded us chasing down bounties, and overall just, again, in a good faction in hindsight. Trying our best to bring liberty to the galaxy and all of that. I honestly don't remember too much from this faction because it wasn't as interesting as the previous two, but I did get a 300 eliminations on human enemies trophy pop before any Freestar Ranger trophies, so yeah, that's fun. But back to the Freestar Rangers, that first trophy was from a bounty on some pirates harassing this lady's land. So we just killed all of them, and it was completed with the trophy popping. But then for about 2 hours, I played through all of the quest lines, and it was for the majority just us responding to bounties, gathering slates, which are like these encrypted data drives holding secrets. Overall, it's just a lot of fetch quests and things like that. No major galactic threats, no insane bank robberies, just kind of standard run-of-the-mill stopping bad guys. And here is both of those trophies popping from the factions quest line. So I then ran through the final quest line related to Ryujin Industries. This all takes place in the city of Neon, which is like this cyberpunk style city, home to many criminals and businesses. And this quest line is far more intriguing than the previous one. It's actually probably the best in the game in terms of just pure lore. I'm so confused as to who made these because the 4 differ so much in effort. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, Ryujin Industries is the corporation who makes a lot of stuff. I'm honestly unsure exactly what they specialize in besides just advanced technology, but you have to basically be their bitch and just do anything they ask of us to rise the corporate ladder and make a difference. You rob people, take out people, attempt to stealth, which I always failed because stealth in this game is a complete joke. Overall, you're just a bad boy under the guise of corporate puppets controlling us. I got 2 trophies during the storyline before I got another called Jacked In, which was from accessing 50 computers. And this was honestly amazing because that is one of the more scary trophies in the list that might be hard or impossible to grind after the story is finished. But then I did just finish off the storyline, and it ends with us deciding what happens to the company, and also this new tech they made that quite literally lets you mind control people. I chose the good route, and I voted to shut down that tech because that is crazy. I already feel like I'm being mind controlled. I don't actually need to be. But then the trophy does pop, and we are finished with stage 2. So I real fast ran through the ending of the game, and I honestly should have done this forever ago. I was just kind of afraid of missing something, but this game has like 30 autosave slots, so you can always backtrack. But the ending, like I said, literally just is a new game plus. There's some cool cinematics, I guess. You also talk to yourself, which was kind of weird, especially considering we have a voiceless protagonist for the entire game. I'm sensing some missteps here, Bethesda. But then it just flashes to some space and some credits, and then it ends with, I guess, the trophy, and then me also being sent to New Game Plus. Poopy fart out of 10 ending. This game, why did I write LMAO in the script? I'm not whatever.
I'm kind of retarded.
So it's now time for stage 3, the miscellaneous trophies cleanup. And this stage isn't the longest, thankfully, but a few of these trophies are a bit annoying to get. And I just went about it by going through the list as it was on PlayStation, starting with 2 trophies related to the outpost in the game. Much like Fallout, this game has outpost building, and it's actually kind of good. I don't know why you would really need to do this despite just wanting to do it, but you can build numerous outposts on a planet and then place these things called cargo links between them. In doing so, this then links 2 outposts together so you can then send and receive materials between them. For the trophy called Shipping Magnate, you needed to connect 5 outposts with cargo links, and this requires you to actually place 6 outposts, however, because only 2 can be linked at a time. It's really not that hard, however, it does take a minute to get used to the mechanics, but after that, it's pretty easy. And I got the trophy right here. Now, while still on this planet and by my outpost I just built, I also did the Industrialist trophy, which was from just simply producing 500 total resources from outposts. Again, this is very easy. All you do is place an extractor or 2, then just wait some time, and if you have them powered up and working, obviously, you just gotta wait till it hits 500 and the trophy pops. Easy peasy. After that, I then grinded out these 2 very annoying trophies back to back because they were related in a sense. Boots on the ground from landing on 100 planets, and the stars my destination from visiting all of the star systems in the game. Now, there is hundreds, if not thousands of planets in this game, whether it be moons, stars, actual planets themselves, so thankfully they only make you go to 100 of them. But all in all, the majority, the heavy majority of the planets in this game are just reused copy and paste planets. You visit them and there is really nothing there besides reused assets from a planet you visited an hour ago. I'm not sure why they did this, maybe to make it seem like Starfield is some kind of revolutionary game where you can go to endless parts of the solar system in the universe, but even on the planets that have things on them, it's not really a planet. You are more landing in a certain playable area of the planet, in the sense that you can't just infinitely travel and then end up back at the place where you started. You will hit a barrier, a boundary, the map boundary. So again, I'm unsure why they did that. It kind of defeats the purpose of an open world if it's genuinely just closed off. But go off, Bethesda. I obviously got the 100 planets trophy first, so here's that popping. But the other one did take a few more minutes of fast traveling and finding any systems I hadn't yet gone to. At the very end of this, I also did run into an issue, and I couldn't see the 2 I was missing. But that's because in some star systems, there is 2, even 3 in one of the little lights. So you have to be very careful to double check those. And yeah, overall, it's not insanely hard. It's just very annoying. I finally found my last one, which was hidden, and I got a trophy pop right here. I then grinded out the trophy called Fixer, which was from completing 30 activities in the game. And these are a type of mission, but they're very, very fast, taking like 2 minutes to complete. Also, nearly all of them are just having us talk to X person or Y person that we met earlier in the game but didn't speak to, or I guess ignored. It's a very easy trophy, and here it is popping yet again. Following that, I began a bit of an annoying grind relating to gathering resources. You have to get both 500 organic resources and 500 inorganic resources for trophies. Now, for the organic ones, this means harvesting plants 500 times, and for the inorganic ones, this means mining or gathering minerals like iron, copper, etc. again for 500 times. Now, nothing in this game is fast, so 500 might not sound like a lot, but goddamn does this take forever to do. And before even getting those, I instead grinded out some temples I didn't have so I could try and get some of the meta powers from them, which makes this grind far, far easier. And while doing this, I finally gathered 20 quantum essence from killing Starborn, because they show up to defend the temples. Quantum essence just drops after a Starborn is defeated, by the way, and after getting 20 of them, I got a trophy called War of Angels from doing just that. But then I finally did unlock the 2 powers I needed, being Eternal Harvest for the organic ones and Elemental Pull for the inorganic ones. Now, Eternal Harvest is very good, and it's what I recommend you get before going for this trophy, because it allows you to just spam the power up and have nearby plants get regrown to then be harvested again, hence the eternally part. And the method for this is to find a little group of plants nearby each other, grab them all, use the power, and then repeat this over and over in a circle until getting 500. If you try to get this trophy by just wandering around, you'll be at it for a very, very much longer time, and yeah, I got it right here. Now, the rock collection trophy is even easier. Just go to a planet which holds a lot of rocks on it. There is quite a few videos on YouTube showcasing good ones, but then all I have to do is run around to rock clusters with ores ready to be mined, and instead of mining them, just use the eternal pull power to instantly grab them, and yes, it does count for the trophy. Next, just run around doing this until hitting 500, and this is easy and way faster than the organic ones, so here's the trophy also popping. Now, during that, I also had to unfortunately kill a lot of alien creatures, and I ended up getting 300 killed almost right after for the trophy, another bug hunt, by the way. But then I did farm out 2 trophies real fast. First, from just making 50 mods for weapons, and no, this trophy does not mean you need to mod 50 weapons, just make 50 weapon mods. I then crafted 100 items for another very easy trophy called Replicator, again, very, very simple. And next up, I unfortunately had to grind out lockpicks for the Cyber Jockey trophy. I finished everything so far at 33 total, so I needed 17 more locks to pick, and there really isn't an overabundance of obvious things to lockpick in this game. Aside from that is ATMs at the Galbank locations around the universe. There was only 3 of these, I believe, and all of them have ATMs that you can hack into, 4 of them in each location. But that's only 12 because math. Thankfully, on that city that starts with an A, I'm not going to try to say it, inside the basement of Galbank, they have extra saves which also can be lockpicked, and that did push me to the over 50 marker for the Cyber Jockey trophy. GG, baby. So now we are in the final stretch of trophies at this point, with my next being from recruiting 10 separate companions. It's a little bit weird, but to do this, you need to go to bars around the game and pretty much just buy people's assistance. Ain't nobody doing this shit for the love of the game anymore. After buying enough companions to join our workforce, the trophy will pop. I then bought 10 ships, which is a bit more annoying because I ran out of money, but hey, I had just enough to get 10, and I think it popped for me at 9, so thanks game, here's the trophy as well. I then got the one and only collectible trophy of this game called Thirst for Knowledge. Shout out to PowerPix for the video showcasing 20 locations, and these skill magazines just give you very, very tiny, I mean like 1% skill boost, so yeah, nothing insane, and here's the trophy after I found my 20th one. I then had one more random trophy left from successfully smuggling contraband. Now this trophy is a little bit complex, but you need to buy some drugs at this bar in Neon and then smuggle toggle them to Jensen or where the lodge is at, because upon entering it, they will scan you, and if you install a scan jammer and the shielded cargo, it gives you a percentage chance to avoid detection. Then you just gotta get lucky and pass the scan. I also got it first try, so awesome story popped right here. Now that is stage 3 finished with. So now it's time for stage 4, the most miserable and insanely boring part of this platinum, hitting level 100. Up till this point, I was around level 41, I believe. So after doing literally everything in this base game, I wasn't even halfway to level 100. Thankfully, there is a few methods to this. The one I chose was the resource crafting method, where you basically just go to a planet where 2 resources are nearby each other, set up an outpost, and then mine them. Then use those 2 resources to craft an item that requires both over and over. I chose the suggested way, which is to go to Venus and farm out nickel and cobalt to craft stacks of iso-centered magnets. Each one craft is worth 1 XP, and it maxes at 99. So you basically just flood your inventory with materials and then mass craft these magnets, getting 99 XP every single time. It's very efficient, but god damn is it boring. It also took me around 10 to 12 hours and not 5 like the guide said, so I will be suing for misinformation. But yeah, it's just miserably boring. My fingers also hurt from spamming craft, and yeah, this was just awful. I don't have any other words. Here's that level 50 trophy and the level 100 trophy with the platinum trophy added on right along with it. So with that complete, that was the Starfield platinum trophy experience. Originally, I did plan to skip this game since I knew I wasn't going to enjoy it and it was a snooze fest, horribly grindy, but I hate myself, so I did it anyways. And yeah, thanks for watching. I know there's going to be a lot of negative reception on this video because I am, you know, hating on this game, and every time I hate on a game, the fanboys, they love to come for it. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed anyways, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, boys.